Welcome to the Empowerment Zone. Economists previously predicted that the U.S. economy would rebound in the second quarter, with growth edging up slightly to 3.1%. However, in light of the disappointing report just released on durable goods sales, Wall Street analysts now believe the opposite. JP Morgan pared down its earlier projection for first quarter gross domestic product to 2.9% from 3.1% and expects a further drop in second quarter growth to 1.5%. Barclays and Morgan Stanley both followed suit, cutting their previously optimistic GDP forecasts. In light of all of this interesting economic news, the National Association of Small Business Professionals announced that it is launching a U.S. based marketing relief operation to help small business startups still struggling with the lingering impact of the Great Recession 4 years onward. To talk with us about this is Kimberly Kelly. Kimberly is the founder and spokesperson for the National Association of Small Business Professionals, or NASBP. Welcome, Kimberly, to the Empowerment Zone.
Thanks for having me, Paula. It's great to be here.
Thank you. I wondered, and I wanted to get right to it. What caused you first to put together and then launch this marketing relief operation? And what exactly is it? What does it entail? And then we can talk some more after that.
Sure. Well, essentially, when I first started NASBP, the National Association of Small Business Professionals, was back in 2009. And I myself had just started up a business here in America. I'd lived in Europe for about 6 years, and my husband and I had a business there, and we sold everything. We came back. I'm originally from the Philadelphia area, and I found that there were a lot of challenges. At that time, we were, still waging that war in Iraq, and it really had an impact on the economy. And gas prices were through the roof. We had commercial vehicles that were really hurting us even just to run, to service our customer base.
Hmm.
And, with that, with the rising cost of insurance and payroll, for a startup, it was quite difficult for us to make a profit and to keep going.
Right.
And, I found that, there were some government programs for small business, but not for micro startups, people who have 10 or less employees. And I think that that segment of the small business community is the most affected and the most impacted by any kind of recession. And I think that there are very few tools for that segment of person to be able to utilize to make their businesses grow and work. And a lot of people during a recession will start a business. Some people will moonlight and they'll start a business part-time. Other people will take the plunge and jump right in and, quit a job and with all the faith and hope in what makes America great, which is the American dream of starting your own business. So,
Mhm.
those were the issues of the day when we first started out. And now you're looking at 4 years later, and it just doesn't seem to be getting better. We have a new administration at the helm, the Obama administration, and some people feel they're worse off than they were in 2009 when we were still in the throes of the Great Recession.
Right.
Officially, economists are saying the Great Recession has ended. But I want to ask you, Paula, as also a small business person, do you see that the Great Recession has ended? Are you feeling that with your business?
Absolutely not. I don't believe that it has ended. I understand what the economists are saying. And Kimberly, I have to tell you that when you listen to what the projections are saying, and depending upon which economic report you want to follow, Some are saying, oh, yeah, it's just a slow recovery. Other people are saying, we're not in a recovery. We're just continuing along the same, road that we were on. And I have come to wonder, as an example, when you're talking about the impact of the Affordable Care Act, with
Yes,
health care, I wonder, small businesses or businesses in general are really being expected to deal with the tax implications and the healthcare costs. And I don't see a remedy coming, which is why what your effort, when it crossed my radar screen, I was interested in it because to me, here was somebody acknowledging that there are issues, but coming up with a solution for the people most impacted.
absolutely, Paula. I mean, and that's the bottom line. I mean, there is a lot of talk and there's a lot of politicking, but at the bottom line is you have to feed your family. I
Right.
have to feed my family. We have to pay bills. Many of us have mortgages. And so, with the impending, as it appears now in the headlines, that we're about to face a minimum wage hike
Mhm.
in in this economy, um, where how that helps small businesses like mine, I cannot tell you. And then looming in the background of that is the Affordable Care Act,
Right.
which even members of Congress are trying to get out of having to abide by that law. So that says something astounding. So if you're a small business and if you have employees like I do, it really is such a burden to now say, wow, do I have to provide health care as well as pay these increasing payroll taxes and the all the other things that are rolled up into this, and then higher minimum wage?
Kimberly,
Um,
oh, let me
sure,
ask you a
Paula, go ahead.
question.
Sure,
You and I, and many of our listeners, if not all, really are believers, you know.
absolutely.
And as Christians, business owners, we know how we are supposed to treat those that are under our employ. We know the kinds of high quality relationships that we are
Yes,
supposed to have, and in our heart of hearts we want to meet the needs of everyone for whom we provide employment. But realistically, I don't know about you, but don't you find yourself kind of torn, between, okay, I want to do the right thing, and then you look at your bottom line and you're watching chunks being chipped away?
well, I think as believers in the Lord Jesus Christ, I
Mhm.
certainly don't pay any of my staff minimum wage.
Mhm.
Um, I try to treat my staff really well. I give them lots of incentives, and they're important to me because they help me do what I'm doing.
Right.
And so that is my heart, full stop. Um, my concern is not necessarily for the believer
Mhm.
because we have a hope in the future that others don't have.
Right.
But there was a time I wasn't a believer.
Mhm.
I didn't understand about these issues. And so I did not have the faith to change those circumstances or to rely on an all powerful God. But what about the people that I serve as an association who don't know Him yet? And He
Right.
says He causes His sun to rise on the just and the unjust.
Mhm.
And so we really do have to face these issues because, again, faith without works is also dead.
That's
So
right.
we do have to do something. We cannot just say, okay, well, we see a calamity coming and let's do nothing about it.
Well, that is a good lead in to what I look at as the relief operation, really, that you've come up with. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about the Marketing 911 helpline, your Marketing ER, and your free member download center that the association is offering?
Absolutely. Well, there are a lot of mixed numbers out there about the startup failure rate. But there was a study in July of last year by the University of Tennessee, and it was a startup study. And basically, in the first year of business, they're saying 11% of businesses will fail due to advertising mistakes,
Hmm.
including misuse and wasteful advertising practices. They're saying 30% because of cash flow problems, which we all understand. We have a lack of operating capital.
Right.
And overall, the study showed us that 46% of all U.S. business failures occur due to a lack of marketing knowledge or managerial incompetence.
Mhm.
And so I thought to myself, I was a professional in the arena of business, but I didn't run my own business. And when I married and my husband had his own business, I began to see a different side. Although I worked in for a corporate, in corporate America, really,
Mhm.
um, there's a side we're not seeing because our jobs are secured. We're at a different level. But when I got married and I saw all the balls that my husband had to juggle as a business owner, and this was in Ireland, not here, but it's still the same premise, I began to say, wow, if he wasn't more established, this could really be a problem.
Right.
Most small business owners do not have access to this kind of information on. Basically, sometimes you just want to ask a question: should I invest my advertising dollars here? Or perhaps you have a marketing or positioning question about your service or product, and you can't afford to go to, um, a suited consultant who might charge you $200 an hour.
Mhm.
And so I thought these people need someone to throw them a lifeline. So I really thought about having a marketing helpline that was completely free, that you could call if you had a question, if you needed to bounce an idea off someone, if you needed to speak to somebody who had been in the trenches, um, to use a military term, because really small businesses like that, and that you could benefit from their wisdom and advice. I mean, they're government entities like SCORE, but SCORE doesn't help you with marketing.
Right.
SCORE really helps you to get started in business and to help you through that process. What about when you've already taken the plunge, you're knee deep in it, and you need immediate answers? And that's why we call it 911, because when you dial 911, you have an emergency.
Exactly. Well, Kimberly, can you tell us, share with the listeners how they can get a hold of you? How do they become part of the NASBP? Is there like with the website address, just the best
Sure.
way to participate?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, we've made this really affordable. We really didn't want to exclude anybody, including someone who's a moonlighter who's starting up part time. So our membership fees are as low as $12.95 a month, and that really includes an extremely value packed suite of member benefits, which includes free access to the Marketing 911, also free access to the Member Download Center. There you can download a lot of helpful marketing guides, advertising guides, different kinds of business growth guides, and they're all also included free with that monthly membership fee. And then there's also a service that there is a small charge for. We call it a copay. And that's our marketing ER, or marketing emergency room. And the marketing ER is when you actually need one-on-one consulting help. So you get a 40-minute marketing consultation where you get to speak one-on-one with a qualified marketing professional, and there's a copay of $39 if you're a member. So I think you'll agree with me, Paula, in that these are quite affordable solutions. You can join the NASBP at www.nasbp.us. And there you click on the Join Now page. You can join for the fee of $89 for the entire year, or you can break out the cost for $12.95 per month.
Kimberly, that is not only reasonably priced, but it is something that is really going to help people when they need it the most. Thank you so much for joining us here for today's session of the Empowerment Zone. And if you could just say that website one more time.
Absolutely, Paula. It's www.nasbp.us. bp.us.